Thank you, Carla. I'm here to speak with everybody today about the lynching and murder of Ahmaud Arbery. Ahmaud was a young 25-year-old man. His best friend, Akeem Baker, described him as a shining light in a dark world. His mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, and father, Marcus Arbery Sr., have been on the media recently speaking about how the murder of their son has turned their lives upside down and destroyed it. Last Friday, May 8th, Ahmaud would have turned 26 years old. He had his whole life ahead of himself. And if you've ever lost a family member, you know the pain that they're going through. What happened was that on Sunday, February 23rd at 1 p.m., Ahmaud was jogging in the Chatilla Shores neighborhood of Brunswick, Georgia, just like he had done many times before because he's an athlete. But this time, Greg McMichael and his son, Travis McMichael, armed with a shotgun and pistol, pursued Ahmaud in a truck, shooting him, confronting him, and shooting him 3 times, twice in the chest. Ahmaud was killed there on the scene. There's 2 crimes that took place. First is the lynching by the McMichaels, and the second is the attempted cover-up. The first DA that took the case, Jackie Johnson, had the video evidence in hand. She had the video evidence, but made no arrests and pressed no charges. She later recused herself. The second DA to take on the case, George Barnhill, the Waycross district attorney, begrudgingly recused himself because his son had worked for years in the same office as as Greg McMichael. Greg McMichael had been for years an investigator in the district attorney's office. He was also a former police officer, so he knew many of these different people. But before recusing himself, George Barnhill, the DA, put out a letter, a disgusting letter, in which he puts forward the defense for the McMichaels. He says that the McMichaels were doing what he called a citizen's arrest and were well within their rights. But in order to make a citizen's arrest, an individual must see firsthand a felony crime taking place or have immediate knowledge of that crime having taken place. They had no such knowledge. The McMichaels merely said Ahmaud looked suspicious and looked similar to someone who had supposedly done a string of robberies recently in the neighborhood. We recently found out that there wasn't even a string of robberies that had taken place. The DA, George Barnhill, goes on to say that the McMichaels were acting in self-defense and stood their ground. But you can't act in self-defense if you're the instigator. If they were pursuing Ahmaud and confronted Ahmaud, that is not self-defense. In the same letter, George Barnhill goes on to even question the mental stability of Ahmaud Arbery. But this all has to be understood within the context of white supremacy woven into the fabric of the state of Georgia. I'd like to read a quote from one of the family lawyers, Benjamin Crump. He said, "We've been here before. Tamir Rice or Trayvon Martin, when they kill our children, they then try to assassinate their character. And I know they're going to do the same with Ahmaud. Lynchings have a deep history and tradition in the state of Georgia and in this country. During Jim Crow, in this state alone, there was 589 lynchings in Georgia, second only to Mississippi. Out of all the lynchings that took place in the South after 1900, only 1% resulted in convictions. There's not even to this day a hate crimes bill on the books in Georgia. It's one of the only 4 states in the country with no hate crimes bill, with no hate crimes law. And this extends beyond lynchings. You can see it in all facets of life. For example, 83% of all hospitalizations to COVID-19 are from the African American community in Georgia. Yet, Black people only are only 32% of the entire population. I want to leave you with this. Racism is alive and well. We know this to be true, but we have to go out and fight. This Saturday, there's going to be a rally at the Glynn County Courthouse at 2 p.m. We will be there, and we call on everybody to come out and support. If you're against racism and if you're against what has happened, join us. We must stop racism before it goes on. Thank you.